Hello guys, and welcome to a new video on the channel. And I have promised quite a while ago that I will do a YouTube video about my latest and new frame diorama, which is based in the 40k universe. I will show you in this video some insights about how I made this art piece, my newest artwork, which I'm honestly very proud of because I really like it and I think it turned out very well. And I also will explain how it came to this one, what was my ideas and my thoughts about it, how I came to make this diorama. Yeah, and also some thoughts about the composition, about the artwork, how I get inspired to do this one. So stay tuned. Also another thing, this is part one of the video because I have a lot to tell about it and it's a big one and I spent many hours on this piece, so the video would be quite long if I put everything in one video. So this is part one, which is especially about the idea, the background, how it came to it, how I get to do it, and especially about the building process, the composition and stuff like that. So part two is about painting. So I would be glad if you like the video to push me to make part two as soon as possible, because I guess the painting process is also quite interesting for you guys. I hope so, at least. And yeah, enjoy the video. Let's jump into it. How I get the idea to do such a diorama. Before I start with the story about this piece, I want to mention this is my second frame diorama I have done yet, and I really get a lot inspired by Roman Lappat, of course. As may a lot of you know, he doesn't invented the style of diorama inside a frame. I've seen this from another artist before, to be honest, but he really does it in perfection in my opinion, and especially with the 40k miniatures, he did quite awesome pieces already. First one he did, Fallen Rain, I'm not sure about the title yet, but this one with the Black Templars, and it was amazing. So this one really gets me into this and inspired me that much that I had to do a frame diorama, and at this point I was struggling with another project which had to do with Lord of the Rings Middle-earth miniatures. So some of you have seen it already, the Last Alliance diorama I did, and also entered to Golden Demon this year in Manchester and got a final pin for it, so very proud about this. But this was my first one and it really got inspired by Roman Lappat. And I will do a video about this as I promised as well, but I don't have the diorama in the studio yet. It is in a museum currently, so I can't really do a video about it. So I will for sure do a video, especially if you like this kind of video I'm doing here with the new diorama. I will for sure make a video all about the first diorama, the Last Alliance from the Middle-earth strategy battle game range miniatures. So, but now let's jump onto this one. When Games Workshop started the advertisement for the 10th edition of 40k, yeah, I also followed all the news they brought about the new minis and what will come and stuff like that. And then they released the new Leviathan box, and I saw the first pictures, and then they went up with this crazy cool artwork where the Ultramarines fight against the Tyranids, and this one really catched me a lot. So I loved the artwork that much that I thought, okay, this looks so cool, especially with the turquoise blue color is going on in the scene, in the artwork. I loved the whole atmosphere and the dynamic feeling the picture gives and stuff like that. So I thought I really have to do this as a miniature frame diorama as my next project. So it was like a, and I said, okay, this is it. I have to do this. This is so cool. And this is actually how the idea was born, to make such a diorama, or especially a diorama inspired by this special artwork from Leviathan, or from the 10th edition artwork. I'm not sure who is the artist, so if you know this, feel free to write it in the comments below. I tried to figure it out, but couldn't find the artist here from this artwork. And as I said, I liked especially the turquoise sky and the reflections from the light on the Marines and the Tyranids, so a very cool scene. Also, I really like the organic forms which are going on there, and reflecting the nature and the environment on this planet, and really shows the connection from the Tyranids to their planet, and all the organic stuff which is going on there. Yeah, so this was actually the idea, and then they came up with the first box, which was this one. I think all of you know it, the Leviathan box. And the box art was with this Terminator and Tyranid head, 50-50. And yeah, this was the first box, and then I was like, okay, cool, I have to get the minis, I have to start, let's do this. I think after a few months or a few weeks, it was not that long time period, honestly, they released the other starter boxes. And that was a little bit a down for me, because I already had the idea. I'm not quite sure if I have already started, can't remember correctly, but at least I was sure I will do it, and I think I have already started when they released the starter boxes, which came after the main box, let's say. And on these boxes they were put exactly the artwork which I liked that much, and which was my sample, or my inspiring for my art piece which I wanted to make. So this was a little bit a downer, to be honest, because yeah, I don't like if something is so big in public and then it is on every box. It felt a little bit not that cool, but yeah, I thought, okay, I like the artwork anyway, and it is so cool. Yeah, and the fourth thoughts before I started, of course, was which miniatures I have to choose. Of course, checked the artwork, the original, a lot to see what is going on, which miniatures I need from the box. And to be honest, so the Marine Captain for sure was quite clear, and he is the miniature is very, very close to the artwork, so that's pretty cool. And I don't had to convert that much, but more about this later on. And for the Tyranid, he's fighting. I first thought I need this, what is the name of it? Scream Killer, as the Tyranid who fights the captain. And then I tried to put this big thing, or try to figure out how I have to put this inside the frame, and beside the Marine Captain, to get a nice look and to get it perfect. And this thing is so big, and I thought, okay, I don't know, but it felt like it's not gonna happen like this. And I think I just built this one together, and the captain, and no other miniature at this point. And then I checked again and again, and the artwork, and then I thought, okay, this Tyranid has wings actually, so it can't be this miniature. And then I thought, oh no, I have to convert a Tyranid with wings or something, or check if any Tyrannid from an old release has wings or something. And yeah, so I was a little bit confused about what I should do then. And finally, I have no idea why I haven't mentioned this before. I realized that this winged Tyrannid boss, I don't know, is already in the box, but it looked in the book not very similar in the first place, like on the artwork, and that was why I haven't seen it in the first place. So yeah, but then there it was, and I thought, okay, the miniature is also in a box like it is on the artwork, but it looks a little bit different because of the pose and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool, that's quite good, so I can skip this one, and of course don't need that much conversion to do. So that was quite cool. And then yeah, it was quite a start in this case, because I started to build this Tyrannid with the wings, of course. And for the start I needed to figure out where I have to place the main characters, so the captain and the Tyrannid with the wings. And of course I wanted to put them in the middle of the scene, or almost in the middle of the scene, in the center, to really get the focus of the viewer at this point. Yeah, and another question was, how many figures do I need? So this is always a little bit tricky and not easy to say at the beginning. So I didn't say, oh, I need 10 miniatures for this. So it doesn't work like this. It is a process which goes on and change a little bit with the time. It's also with the amount of miniatures which I need. So I started with the two main characters and built everything around them. And then, yeah, as I said, I put one here and there, but more about this later on. So next also, of course, was how big should be the depth of the frame, how far should it go in the backside, so backwards. And that is also quite important to figure out, to get a good depth, not too deep and not too shallow, to get a good transition between 2D and 3D. So the background, of course, 2D, and the edges of the frame, and the miniature part, the main scenery, 3D. So the main thing of this kind of diorama is to merge those aspects from the different techniques together in one piece. As I said, I started with the Marine and the Tyrannid, and for the captain, Marine captain, I needed to convert the right arm a little bit and the sword. So I had to do some repositioning here so that it looks more like on the artwork, and the position is better like the miniature is original, built together when you build it out of the box. And of course for the Tyrannid with the wings, there was a little bit more adjustments to do, to be honest, because I need to cut off one wing, the right one, to get more space behind it and to get it in the right position. And also I had to reposition the right arm and the left wing a little bit, so this was a little bit trickier. And also of course I wanted to have the look like on the artwork, like they are almost in a fight and looking at each other. So this was a little bit tricky to do, and it needed some time to get this right and figure it out, get them in the right spots. Another interesting thing in my opinion is that I didn't glue them, because then it would be very hard to change the arrangement, to change the positions. So I put a hole in the feet of the miniatures and a wire into it with some glue. And because I used bark as the main ground piece, I could stitch them in for the ground and to show the ground of the planet. As I said, I used some bark, a big bark piece, And I did this time a lot of sculpting because I wanted to have it a little bit more unique. And also, I think, in my opinion, it's better to paint milliput than bark or something, because bark soaks a lot of paint. You don't have that nice surface to paint on. So I sculpted quite a lot above the bark to get a chance to paint better in the end. When the positioning of the main characters was done, I figured out which miniatures I need as well, or which miniatures I want to add to the piece. And yeah, I just built some Marines again and put them on the left hand side and figured out how I want to position those. During this process, I took my time and rearranged the miniatures again and again until I was finally happy with them. In the end, this means that I let a few days pass before I finally decided on a certain positioning of one or more miniatures, and only then finally glued them firmly. Also, another important aspect here is that the figures in the background and those that are located directly on or in the edges of the frame, I had to cut pieces off and or sanded these accordingly with sandpaper on the sides that should be on the background or the edges, so that they fit really into the scene. So this is also quite important part, and this ensures that the background and the edges are connected to the overall scenery and therefore the miniatures, of course. After I have done some of the Marines, so it was not quite ready, but as I said, it was a process, and I don't did it like, okay, I have to put all on the left and on the right hand side, so it was a little bit here and a little bit there. So after I have put in the first Marines, or made my idea in my head which one should be where, I started with the Tyranids on the right hand side, and of course I started first with those in the background and on the right hand side on the frame edge, and cut the tails of them off to really get them into the scene, and so that it looks like that they appear from the right hand side, and also that it still keeps space for some more Tyranids at the front. And I also wanted that the big main character Tyranid with the wings is still visible for the viewer's eyes quite good.
You can see here now that I have already put the Tyranids in the back and one on the right hand side in, and unfortunately I couldn't film this because it was too hard to see on camera. And here in the next picture there is already another one on the right hand side, as you can see. And for those I had to cut off the tails, of course. And after this, trying to find good positions for the front Tyranids and to figure out how many I need. And of course I wanted to really represent them as a big mass going on here. In this picture you can see that I've already sculpted some rocks on top of the bark, as I said before, and I also added some kind of bland liana pieces at the bottom of this rock. And you can also mention that I've already put the Space Marines quite fixed to the base and to the background, and in the top of the frame I have already put some green stuff as well to show some kind of liana blends again. Something which was also kind of tricky was the Space Marine on the back, as you can see here, and at this point I added some left arm And I mentioned with the time that I was not that happy with it, and I also mentioned that on the original artwork there was one marine in the background who outstretched his arm and pointed at something, and I really wanted to show this because the pose is more unique and looks much better in the background in my opinion. And then I had to figure out how to get such an arm because I don't have that much bits. You can see here now how I figured out to manage to get some rock going on more to the front on the left hand side to set another Terminator in the front. And for me it was quite important to really get the scene out of the frame. I know this is not the usual way to do it, but I really like it when it seems like the whole scene and the scenery and the miniatures are coming out from the frame, and in my opinion it feels even more three-dimensional, let's say. Fortunately, I managed to get a nice looking arm who is pointing at something. Luckily, there are the cool Facebook community groups where I find a guy in Germany. He was able to send me some of those arms, and at this point I was very happy with it. It looks much better than before. You can see here under this rock I have sculpted some eggs, and I've seen those on some Tyranid bases. I just did them a little bit bigger. And then I sculpted with some green stuff around the eggs. So actually I did something like a layer on top of them to really get something like a skin at the end beside them. So yeah, to get a look like they are on the Tyranid bases and the miniatures already and on the artworks. So I really sculpted and put the green stuff onto the eggs to get the right forms, and then I sculpted with a sculpting tool in the middle of the eggs and cutted some pieces out to get the eggs visible underneath. Then I had just to do some last adjustments and some detail work, and then I was quite happy with the result. Then I decided to put more blend stuff going on because the base doesn't look that organic enough in my opinion at this point. And I really want to achieve a good connection between the background because I was already sure that I will paint the planet or the sky quite like the original artwork with the plants and stuff going on there, and therefore I just rolled some green stuff again and put it on the left hand side to show off some kind of lianas again. Then I started to sculpt a little bit more onto the rocks, onto the bark, to get the surface better for painting. And at the end I added a bigger liana plant piece with green stuff onto the bottom from the left to the right hand side because it was still not enough organic bland stuff going on, in my opinion. And here are some pieces which were left in the end from the building process. And this was the result after the building, sculpting, converting and stuff. I was very happy at this stage because it turned out very well and really as I expected. And I was very excited to paint this piece then. After this picture was made, I only adjusted some things on the bottom of the plans at the frame. So I did some kind of stings, for example, and also some more details.
I hope you liked this first part of the video, and I hope you like my artwork, of course. I will soon hopefully have some art prints available from this diorama which you can get in my store, so feel free to check this out. Maybe if this video is available, there's already a link in the description below where you can order, so check it out. Okay guys, I'm very happy that the art prints have arrived before I have finished the video. So here they are. They turned out pretty awesome. And I have 50 pieces, limited edition. And if you order one, I will also sign each piece for you guys. And the size is quite cool, the quality is very good, I'm very happy about it. The size is almost like the original one, so that's pretty cool in my opinion. If you are interested, you can find the links in the description below. You can order on my website, there it will be a little bit cheaper, or directly in my Etsy shop. On my website you just have to write me an email that you are interested and you like to order one. Thanks a lot for your support, I really appreciate it. If you have liked the video, give it a thumbs up please. Subscribe to the channel to see the part 2. And if you have any questions or comments about it, feel free to put it in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching guys, this really helps me a lot to move on with my art. Have a good one, see you in the next one. Cheers, Jonathan from With Colors.